which newly sober star banned guests from drinking at his wedding? The answer is Eddie Van Halen.
Thank you very much. We're live on 5 with Linda Hamilton, Larry Turner and Craig Revel-Horwood. More on all of them on our brand new website, 5.tv/rightstuff. That's enough of the plugging. More about this show. Would you want to know, in a little while, if your partner was using Viagra? Would you be disappointed if you discovered your man was getting assistance or too worn out to care? 0207 173 5555 is the number. Go ahead, dial it. First, though, we need your help. Can you tell us if an alcoholic can ever have just one drink? If you're watching Coronation Street, you'll know that Peter Barlow's been battling his demons for a while now, vowing to beat the bottle in the 10-day AA meetings after almost killing his son in a house fire a year ago. This is, by the way, Linda, just so you know, a TV drama, not a real guy. Gotcha. Right. But last night he told girlfriend Leanne that his problems with alcohol were all in the past. Now, viewers have seen in the last week or so Peter sip a glass of wine and down a half of bitter. On that evidence, you could say he's right then, isn't he? His boozing is under control. Or is he playing a dangerous game with himself? Research has shown that some alcoholics can indeed return to moderate or controlled drinking. And there's this famous couple, a Scottish couple, Lillian and Murdoch MacDonald. You may remember them. They wrote a book called Phoenix in a Bottle, which told how they were once both down and out, sleeping rough on the streets of Cambridge. But since addressing the problems, the couple have gone on to lead normal lives. They both now drink if and when they feel like it. And their argument is that no alcoholic is addicted to booze, but rather they're addicted to the escape it affords. So once you confront the causes of the problems that lead you to go and have a drink, it's safe to go back to the bottle. Now, I don't know much about this. It sounds a very dangerous situation, a precarious situation to me. But those, of course, who follow Alcoholics Anonymous would almost certainly disagree with that couple because they advocate abstinence as the only way to beat a drink problem. And it's clearly worked for the likes of Anthony Hopkins, David Bowie, Robert Downey Jr., etc., who are all teetotal these days. Larry, what do you think?
I felt absolutely sick watching that. Absolutely sick. I lived with somebody who... I will use the word because that's what the word he used, was an alcoholic, and I had exactly that situation where I watched him have a drink because he said, you know what, I think I'm not really an alcoholic after all time. And I can remember watching him have that drink and thinking, oh, my God. And then spending the next however long time watching the spiral downwards. And I think, so part of me feels, because nobody wants to be an alcoholic, nobody wants to be the one on the soda water all night, and therefore the desire just to be like normal people and just be able to have a drink is so strong, and your heart goes out to them for that. And maybe there is the odd person who can manage that, but my experience, and those of lots of people I now know, is that there isn't just the one drink.
Do you think, if there is the person that can do it, do you think they are alcoholic or they just had an alcohol problem, if that's...
I think that nobody likes to label themselves as that. I think there's an argument, a very strong argument, that do people who are depressed use alcohol to medicate their depression? And therefore, if they deal with a depression, they no longer
I mean, this is the McDonald's argument.
That is the argument I have heard, and I heard it from the person I knew who started drinking. What I saw was entirely different. What I saw with the alcoholic was that it didn't matter if it was one drink or a bottle of vodka. It was the personality change. It was the obsession. It was the trying to control. It was the exhaustion of trying to control it to the half a bitter or the one drink. And the collateral damage around them, because they disappear. Somebody said to me as an alcoholic, they said it's a bit like Alzheimer's. Every so often, they come back and you think, oh, I've got the person I knew is back. You never get them back. They've gone. When they start drinking again, they've gone, and they won't ever come back.
It's quite, because I'm thinking my nan was an alcoholic, but she was quite peculiar because she would go from naught to plastered on one drink. So it didn't matter how much she drank, because you always think alcoholic, they can knock a bottle of vodka back a day. She didn't need to. One drink and she was straight there. Linda, do you think it's a dangerous game to play, or do you think someone can pull it off?
Well, I had always assumed that the very definition of alcoholic is someone who can't have just one drink, which would... I can't have just one drink. I haven't drunk for 12 years.
Oh, you don't? OK.
So I have actually been involved in the program, you know, early on. But for me, it was very clear when I sort of got away from my drinking and my excessive drinking that I never had just one drink. I never wanted one drink. I just wanted to be, you know, one drink would mean 6 drinks. And that was how I understood that there would never be just one drink for me. That's just my story. But I think if we're going to just be literal about it, if you can stop at one drink, you're no alcoholic. you know, because...
So by definition, you're not an alcoholic. You might have had an alcohol problem, but...
True, but a true alcoholic just can't stop, or that one drink will send you off, as Lowry says.
Can I ask about the programme? Because they were saying that, you know, there's bits of the programme I can take on board and there's bits that I don't feel apply to me. Can you pick and choose?
According to the Alcoholics Anonymous, no.
No.
No, you have to follow the whole
There
program.
are kind of splinter groups from AA now, where they say they don't talk about themselves as being recovering, because the AA thing is I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
They talk about themselves as being recovered, and they talk about the fact they might be able to have one drink. So there are lots of opinions, you know, and there is some, you know. And if you're not an alcoholic, the thing is, you know, we don't have the right to tell somebody they're an alcoholic. They have to tell. They have to decide themselves.
It's quite interesting when we were looking at this, researching a number of people that have said they'd had problems with alcohol in the past. Quite a few celebrities out there. Jack Dee is one that comes to mind, but never ever described himself as an alcoholic. And Jack Dee sort of said, I had problems with alcohol, and now I only drink a little occasionally. So I'm aware that there is this difference. Craig?
My father, because my experience as the son of an alcoholic, I suppose, and so I've had to live with it as you have, and you have in a different way. But certainly, he cannot have one drink at all. If he has one drink, then he goes on a bender. And he's been... Now, he went to AA, which was all great and fantastic, and we all thought, oh, this is great. But, I mean, it took a major episode, you know, in his life for him to change, for him to go... He went to prison, you know, for trying to shoot my mum and my brother-in-law and all of that stuff, and that sort of stopped him drinking. And then he went to AA, was in the programme for 3 years and doing very, very well. And then suddenly I went back to visit him in my hometown of Ballarat, and he cracked like a beer.
You've had that thing where you've seen...
for the first time in 3 years, and I went, Dad, what are you doing? He said, oh, no, it's OK, I can control it. He went through 24 cans that day and doesn't remember, and that's the thing. You know, they're just suddenly gone. You know, and it's frightening because the behaviour changes. You know, certainly after the 7th beer, he becomes abusive, you know, and it's the people around the alcoholic that I think gets the brunt of it. And,
for sure.
And I don't think you can have one. And that scene really frightened me as well.
I think that's the point.
Because we've heard it all before.
They're not undermining it any chance. I think they're actually...
No, they're playing
I think
Russian
that was really
roulette.
well written, that scene, because that's exactly, to me, that was exactly how it was.
OK.
Yeah, and it is Russian roulette. You are literally playing with your life.
Go on, Linda.
And hopefully they will further the story by showing that it's not possible for him to have one drink. Because it would be almost irresponsible of them to have him get away with
I mean,
that.
it's definitely an ongoing story.
Obviously, they're going to use it as
very similar to all those anorexic websites. There are now lots of websites, unfortunately, online where telling people that you're not really an alcoholic, you can have just one drink, feeding this kind of anti-AA feeling.
OK. It is an intriguing storyline. It'd be interesting to see if anybody disagrees with you guys, because the message is coming through very loud and clear. You can't just have one drink. Let's find out. Kirsty.
Somebody who does is Hugh on line 4.